All right, hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about the Gibbons versus Ogden case and its importance for the development of U.S. democracy. Okay, so first we got to understand what this event is about and its historical context. So, Gibbons versus Ogden was a landmark case in the history of U.S. law and took place in 1824. And at this time, the U.S. was they were expanding as a young country and rapidly expanding and building like its commerce and transportation. And the country was also divided on issues about like federal power versus states' rights, and it also had many people questioning the role of the federal government in regulating commerce. So those are some things to keep on your mind whenever learning about this case. So basically, um, the case was brought to the Supreme Court because Thomas Gibbons was a steamboat operator, and he was sued by Aaron Ogden, who had been given a monopoly by the state of New York to operate steamboats in the Hudson River. And Gibbons had been operating his own steamboats on the same route through the Hudson River, and Ogden claimed that this was a violation of his right given by New York. And the question before the court was whether or not New York's grant of a monopoly given to Ogden was valid and if it conflicted federal law. And then the court was also asked to decide whether the federal government had the power to regulate commerce that involved more than one state, or whether this was a power reserved for states. So initially, um, whenever Ogden sued, whenever Ogden sued Gibbons, New York ruled in Ogden's favor, but then Gibbons appealed it to the Supreme Court, and it ended up as a unanimous decision that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Gibbons, stating the Commerce Clause of the Constitution um, gave Congress the right to regulate interstate commerce, and that the power extended to the regulation of navigation on the Hudson River. The court also ruled that state laws that conflicted with federal laws were invalid under the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. So, pretty much, this ruling established the federal government's power to regulate state commerce that involved one or more state, or more than one state. So, pretty much overall, this court case was a very critical event in U.S. law, and it was very important because for the development of U.S. democracy, because it affirmed the power of the federal government to regulate commerce, which helped to create a more unified national economy. And I think prior to this ruling, states have been granting monopolies and regulating commerce in their own way, which often was not very efficient and led to many conflicts uh, like this. And then also, it helped establish the principle of judicial review, which is extremely important to checks and balances. And I think it's probably the number one part of checks and balances. And then also this case helped clarify the boundaries between state and federal power, and it contributed to the ongoing debate about the kind of appropriate balance between these two levels of government. And this debate obviously still continues today and is an important aspect of U.S. democracy, as seen between the Federalists and Anti-Federalists. And then um, so if this court case didn't happen, I believe that this country would be pretty different right now. And without this court's ruling, the states may have continued to regulate commerce within their borders in their own way and would lead to a bunch of problems and also lead to a bunch of monopolies, which would just not be good for the economy at all, and it would make it harder for the U.S. To become a global economic power. So who knows where we'd be right now. If this case did not happen,